It's saying that it is saying that invalid invalid meeting at his end, and he's also
Okay,
tried to log in on the phone line too.
Mr. Belfort, it is the same exact link that you have that everybody has. So
Well,
it's the same exact one. It's
let
not,
me call him again and try to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
oh,
let's pause.
okay. He has departed. Okay. Mr. Belfort, hi, Mr.
Okay,
Belfort.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, are you still waiting for your witness?
Well, I just spoke to him. It disconnected when I called him. Um, he was unable to log in. Do you see him on there yet?
No, he's not logged in.
Is there any way you can send him a direct login link? That
It's the same exact link that,
it's not working.
okay, but it's the same one. So what I'm saying is if I send it to him, he already has it. So, but I can do that again.
Yeah,
But he
I
already
mean,
has it if you gave it to him.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's tied in with his email address or IP or anything like that, but it
Yeah.
wasn't letting him in.
Okay. I don't, yeah, I couldn't tell you. Okay, so I will send him.
And you have his email. It's dogjeff@hotmail.com. And if, yeah, so we have recording in progress. I'm letting you know that I'm visually impaired a little bit at this time, and I'm going to be relying on him with my exhibit. Not to mention, I do not have an internet connection way up here.
Okay, so Mr. Belfort, what is his email address again?
It's DAWGJEFF at hotmail.com.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat that back to you. It's DAWGJEFF at hotmail.com.
Yes, ma'am, that's it.
Okay, hold on just a second.
I don't think I can. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Ada, when you send that, could you CC Mr. Belfort, please?
Yeah, I'm going to copy everybody.
Okay, thank you. And let's go ahead, call the case. If you could
Okay,
work
hold just one
with regard to that. Yeah.
second.
What he's getting is meeting ID does not exist. That's on the previous link. That's what he was getting on there.
Okay. Okay, so that has been sent. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting.
Thank you. And I know that the email has already been received by me. So, and
Okay.
everyone is CC'd, all the parties with regard to this. And
Okay. All right. So the hearing is being recorded as part of the official record. This is an administrative hearing and will be heard by hearing officer Elizabeth Beyer regarding a civil penalty issued by code enforcement. This hearing is in the matter of Jonathan Belfort, RJC case number WCAH 2025-000045 in code, excuse me, in code enforcement case number WVIO PLA 24-0100. Anyone who is testifying, please raise your right hand. I'll need an audible yes from each of you afterwards. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the evidence or testimony you will give in this matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Ada, could you please work on the respondent's name when
Yes.
you get a chance?
Yes.
And thank you. Mr. Belfort, noting that you're visually impaired, if there is anything that you cannot see, please speak up and let the court know. Not that there may be any particular thing, but just let us know if there's any difficulty, okay?
Okay. I'm more concerned about my witness being able to get on here and take an oath.
Just remember that he can come in by telephone if he's not able to do it in
He
any other fashion.
he did
It's less
try.
preferable. Okay.
He did try.
Okay. It's the same login for all of us. So thank you.
Okay.
With regard to code enforcement's case, I don't know whether Mr. Farmer or is it Gissinger or Geisinger? Sorry.
It's Giesinger.
Giesinger, Mr.
Yeah.
Giesinger, and I should know that. My apologies. Mr. Giesinger, I'm not sure who it is from code enforcement. Could someone walk us through the timeline with regard to this case, please?
Right. So basically where we're at now. So he was issued a warning. We started this case. I guess that would be summer of 2024. Issued the warning, issued the penalty, the hearing.
Excuse me. I hate to interrupt, but I just received a message that Mr. Wilson is unable to log in. Won't let him in. That's a message I just received. And I'm going to have trouble proceeding. I'm going to have trouble proceeding with this hearing if my witness and my basically my database of exhibits is can't be presented.
Mr. Belfort, just to let you know, your witness is able to come in by telephone if he wishes. Could you, when we get to that juncture, often in court cases, witnesses tend to be excluded prior, only parties are often allowed, and witnesses are often excluded until their turn comes. So
I was not aware that this was a court of law. I was under the impression it was an administrative hearing.
it
And
is, and it's both, sir.
again, I am visually impaired. He's saying won't let me in, incorrect password.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. Why don't we do this? What is your proffer of evidence? In other words, what is your witness coming to do?
Well, he's a witness to numerous events and facts. And
Give me an
then
example, sir.
give you an example.
Yes, please.
Okay. He was a witness to the person that presided over the Board of Adjustments meeting that I had a conversation with him several days after the hearing where he's told me, I said, we're going to pursue this. And he said to me, I don't care. I do what I'm told. He's a direct witness to that. He was standing right there when that was said. So that's just an example. He's also a witness to the vast amount of evidence of financial crimes and frauds upon my title, which further add to the extenuating circumstances already presented in this case.
Mr. Belfort, just so you know, I have taken a look at your exhibits. the 13 of them. And what we're going to do at this juncture is as mark and move all of the evidence into this case. So even though some of your exhibits may not be relevant, we're just going to move all of those into evidence. With regard to what you've just proffered, what you've just offered, with regard to this particular witness, is his name, what is his name, sir?
Jeffrey Merritt Wilson.
Jeffrey Merritt Wilson. What you've just indicated to me is that there may be, in your argument, that there's potential for fraud, collusion, crimes, with regard to the title, some difficulty with the Board of Adjustment. Those are outside the purview of what I am looking at today as the court with regard to this specific case.
Okay. Well, ma'am, I'll just say this. I strongly object to proceeding with this hearing without my witness and without access to my exhibit and the material contained within them.
I do have access. The court has access. I anticipate Mr. Giesinger and Mr. Farmer, do you also have access to all of the exhibits with regard to this case presented by Mr. Belfort? Do you have those?
Yeah.
Is that
We
part
do.
of your file? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I've
So
already
we all have
stated,
copies of your evidence, sir.
okay, I've already stated that I'm visually impaired. I do not have an internet connection up here. And I was relying on Mr. Wilson's assistance and his familiarity with all the aspects of this to assist me in my presentation. And without that, I'm at a distinct disadvantage, and I wish to put that on the record.
So noted. Thank you.
And I have requested sending Mr. Wilson login links on numerous occasions leading up to this hearing.
So noted. All right. Back to you, Mr. Farmer, walking us through the timeline with regard to this case, please.
So we had the first administrative penalty hearing in December of 2024.
Could you possibly back up, please, with regard to if you happen to have, there was a building permit,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and then there was some decision with regard
we were
to
just trying to keep
the
it
current.
simple, but going back further, we've been dealing with him since 2017 in this matter. And so I worked with him for a long period of time to get the original building permit. So he had gotten that. We had closed our case. Seems like building elected not to renew his building permit for lack of progress. And then that's when we kind of jumped back in. And since the 2-year timeline had passed, we had started a new violation case.
Okay.
So then he got the first administrative warning and then obviously followed it up with the penalty. We didn't have the hearing until December of 2024. The hearing officer, we disagreed with her order saying that he just had to reapply by, I think, February, right? And that's not really, we find that that's not really a result or how we're going to result. Like applying for a building permit isn't going to result in anything. You got to obtain one. So that was appealed to the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment heard it in the spring of 2025. They reversed the hearing orders, the hearing officer's original order, and wanted all items removed from the property within 25 days. Mr. Belfort did appeal that to the Second Judicial Court. They upheld the Board of Adjustment's ruling and closed out their case. And then so we restarted the case. We sent out the second penalty because we also wanted to move forward with the notice of violation with the recorder's office, and you have to give a notice for that. So we went with the second penalty knowing that there is kind of a loophole that all penalties can be appealed, even though we already went through this and it went through the whole process, the whole appeal process. So nothing's really changed. And so here we are.
All right. And I did note that there was, and Mr. Belfort, let me make sure you have just a moment, Mr. Giesinger, you have an entire copy, the 30 pages from code enforcement, correct, sir?
I mean, yes, I did I don't
Okay.
know if it was 30 pages, but
Okay.
yes, I did receive the notice. Yes.
Uh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Giesinger.
I just wanted to add to Brian's comments, just so you're aware that another issue with this case is that they've already exceeded the amount of time they can live in an RV with the building permit. So even if they were to obtain a building permit, it wouldn't allow the continuance of RV living. So
Right. Right. Understood.
yeah, thanks.
And uh, Mr. Belfort, you've been living on the property, is it since 2017?
No, no, that is inaccurate. And my
Okay.
dealings with Mr. Farmer did not begin in 2017. I moved onto the property in 2018.
Okay.
And
So,
yeah, and there was and this is just leads to the background of this whole thing. There was
Mr. Belfort,
okay,
this is not your opportunity yet.
okay, okay,
I'm just trying to get dates. And you will have your opportunity in a bit. But
okay,
code
thank you.
enforcement, I wanted to have a timeline with regard to that. Thank you for sharing. You've been on the property since at least 2018, and code
He's right.
enforcement
He's right. Our
is there.
first complaint was in June of 2018.
Okay,
And by the way, we continued to receive complaints, so that was another factor in issuing a second penalty.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, Mr. Farmer, anything else?
No, that's it. Just say that we had that original complaint in 2018. We worked with him for a year. He didn't get that building permit until June of 2019. So it was just extension after extension. So we tried working with him for a year before any penalty was issued. The first penalty was only issued after that building permit did get expired, and we had to resume enforcement.
Okay. All right. Anything else from code enforcement? No.
Now, just essentially at this point, we're just enforcing the board BOA's action order. I mean, that's where we're at. We got to enforce their corrective action.
All right. Okay. And the photos taken on November 19th of 2025, who took those photos?
I did. It would have been me.
Okay, and those I think are maybe page 22 or thereabouts in the hearing packet that code enforcement provided, indicating the current condition with regard
Right,
to
right. That they're still
RVs.
there. Yeah, yeah. There's items still on the property, on the parcel.
Okay. All right. Anything else from code enforcement?
No.
All right. Mr. Belfort, my understanding is that you've been on the property since 2018, and the most recent photos from code enforcement of November 19th, 2025 indicate basically perhaps the same condition.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Can I proceed with my
This
presentation?
is now your opportunity.
Okay, okay. First, I'd like to reassert my objection to proceeding without my witness and access to the database of my exhibits, which puts me at a distinct disadvantage in this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Belfort. With regard to your database, it is part of the court record. All of the people here currently have access to your index of exhibits and your exhibits.
Yes, I'm just letting it be known that I was relying on this due to my visual impairment at this point. That to get into more detail with some of it, I was relying on Mr. Wilson, but I voiced my objections. I've put it on the record, and I'm going to proceed because I do not want you to arbitrarily rule against me because I refuse to participate in this. So under duress, I will continue with my presentation. Let me first say that the conditions of my building permits came with a clause in there that said uh, if there were extenuating circumstances. Okay, I want to put that in there before I proceed with my presentation. Um, it does take some time to get building permits, and I don't think it was unreasonable for all the plans and going back and forth and everything to take almost a year. So in November of 2019, I received approval of my submitted permits. I was told by email, and I can produce the actual emails telling me, suggesting to me that the rates were about to go up and that, like in a week, I believe it was, and would really be in my benefit to do it now. And now remember, this is November 28th. I'm up at almost 6,000 feet above the snow line. And so at the start of winter is when my permits started. Okay.
And,
So then,
and let me get this correct, Mr. Belfort. This was about 5 years ago or so.
yes.
Okay, hold on,
Yes.
Mr. Belfort. Thank you for that. My understanding is we now perhaps have your witness present.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm
Jeffrey
here,
Merritt
John.
Wilson.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Jeffrey Merritt Wilson. My understanding is you're coming in by telephone, sir, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my understanding also is that you're a witness for Mr. Belfort. Let us
Yep.
swear you in so that we can begin this process. If you need to testify after Mr. Belfort, we'll hear your testimony at that time. In the meantime, unless there's any objections by code enforcement, we will have you sit in on the hearing.
No objection.
Any objections? No.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Mr. Wilson, could you please raise your right hand?
Okay. What's this oath? What's the oath for?
Are you testifying today or not?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But I want to know what jurisdiction I'm testifying under. Is this the
You are-
United States of America? Give me the
I'm going to
give me the
administer-
oath. I'm going to testify.
Mr. Wilson,
I
I'm going
can't
to
see
swear
you
you
or
in. If
anything.
you care to be sworn in, raise your right hand. We're going to move forward with this. Mr. Belfort is in
Okay,
the
go
midst
ahead.
of testifying, and if you interrupt me, we're going to put you on mute. So, do
Okay,
you
go
solemnly
ahead. Give it
swear
to
the
me.
testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes.
Thank you. Ada, if you could please correct his name.
Okay. And so it's Jeffrey
Wilson, Wilson. Is that correct,
Je-
sir?
Jeffrey Merritt Wilson.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Merritt.
that we have enough room. The Zoom does not allow us to
Okay,
typically
all right,
exceed so
that's fine.
many. All right, Mr. Belfort, please continue.
Okay. So I was at the beginning of winter, when I was told it would be in my benefit to start my permits now and pay for them before the rates went up, which seemed reasonable to me, and I did. So November 28th, so we basically say December. Hard winter, bad weather, no chance of any work being done during that time, but that's living up here. Brings us to March 12th, 2020. A state of emergency was declared both nationally and statewide by Governor Sisolak. At that time, there was a stay of all statutes of limitations. Okay? And it was for the period plus 30 days, which came out to right about 3 years. very approaching 3 years. Also, during that time, there was a moratorium on evictions, further reinforcing the state's concern with people being displaced off their properties or out of their homes. So I would say that during that period, it was stayed. Basically, I'm saying that the whole time that I obtained my permits, November 28th, 2019, until almost 3 years later, is under that statute of limitations stay. During this time, I began to discover irregularities having to do with the property owners association out here, and duly reported them. It had to do with embezzlement at that point. Further on, I realized that, and now to this date, with recent discoveries, that there has been fraud committed upon my title. Okay, this has all come out during COVID. No one wanted to really meet with myself and Mr. Wilson about these issues. I don't have to impress how things were during the pandemic. But that brings us up to the last 18-month period of building permit extensions. There was work completed at the cost of materials in excess of $30,000, plus hundreds of hours of my time for the engineered septic system that I had the initial inspections on. I was told by David Kelly, after the initial excavations and filling of materials were done, I was told, go ahead and build it. This is in 20, I believe it was during the pandemic. It was after March 2020, and I believe we were masked, or Mr. Kelly at least was masked during this time. He said, go ahead and build it. I then proceeded to do this work, like I said, at a outlay of $30,000+ and hundreds of hours of my labor. And I then contracted COVID-19, a very severe case, at a meeting of Truckee Meadows Fire Rescue Auxiliary Station 450 in Palomino Valley. Confirmed case, Brian Farmer. And it was about 3 or 4 days after the meeting, I just started feeling awful. I could barely move, and then was basically incapacitated for 2 months. Suffered a huge weight loss and just detrimental to my health in general. And things got worse and worse and worse during the pandemic. Daily, so many people have died today. So many new cases have come up today. This basically all falls under the stay of statutes. So I'm asking that the work that I did do, and it was a substantial amount. This is Exhibit 13, and I believe it was good work. I've been told, for someone that's not a big construction guy, that the work looked very professional that I did. I'm asking
Sir,
that,
Mr. Belfort, you're talking
yes,
about the photos of your septic system,
yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes, I
Okay,
am.
got it. Keep going,
And
sir.
it also should be noted that what you're looking at there, underneath that was another probably 7-foot trench through very solid rock material, and then all the fillings and the layering, and then the construction of putting that there, and then all the fixtures and everything, which are no small inconsequential items. They were very heavy, had to be placed and leveled and all that. I mean, it was a huge amount of work, and it was more than what's visible just in those photos. I'm asking that section of work be applied to my last period of permit extension. So that right there would be 4.5. It comes out to over 4 years. To further add to the extenuating circumstances, I've had to deal with this fraud upon my title and the looting and embezzlement that has gone on with the association that basically controls access to my property. And coincidentally, the gentleman who was the complainant on this has a history of placing of injurious materials in the roadway and making documented threats with police reports saying that
Mr. Belfort,
yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Belfort, are you speaking about Mr. Schreck?
Yes, I am.
Okay, keep going, sir.
That has just delayed, impeded, menaced me to further add to these extenuating circumstances. And my contention is that the other 17 months that have elapsed, that you're looking back on now saying, oh, 2019 was a long time ago. Well, it basically was 2020 because it was February or November 28th of 2019. So that we'll just call it 2020. And then the winter and then the pandemic, there was work completed. And through my appeals, through the appeal to the Second Judicial Court, I've been met with nothing but false statements, fraudulent statements, deceptive practices by Washoe County, by James Lee Schreck. We now and all of my criminal allegations, which have now been refined into undisputable proof that there's been fraud committed on my title. And it was committed by Gail Agnes Kern, attorney, who was a president of either the Washoe County Bar or the Northern Nevada Bar. And it is based on information and evidence. My reporting of this has been thwarted and ignored. It's never been denied. None of it's ever been denied in over 3 years. And that this has amounted to my allegations now of racketeering involving Washoe County employees. And again, based on evidence and information, this has all been now refined. Never in a million years would I have thought anything like this could go on, but we have extremely strong indications of this now. And again, District Attorney Christopher Hicks was recently served with our latest findings. And again, it's indisputable that at least warrants investigation and accountability for these things. All of these extenuating circumstances should, under normal circumstances, now we're doing the stay of statutes, the work that I did do on my septic system, and so stay, and then one renewal period, one extension period should all fit in to those 3 extensions that I received. That there was no reason other than Mr. Shrek, who has purchased 12, we believe more than 12 properties back in this area since while this was all going on. And the other thing now that right after, so to complete the timeline here, I was given the letter from Mr. Farmer, the notice telling me to get off my property. I received it. It was dated June 6th. Approximately 2 weeks after that.
You're speaking, Mr. Belfort, just to clarify, June of 2025.
Yes.
Okay.
No, 24.
Okay.
That was the first notice, 2024.
Okay.
2 weeks after I received that, and coincidentally, a copy of the outline of our criminal complaint that we have filed was sent to Mr. Farmer, or actually it was sent to Kevin Costa the day before, or the evening before, at 9 o'clock. The letter from Mr. Farmer. So now we've gone public with these criminal allegations, criminal claims. By 3 o'clock the next day, Mr. Farmer had generated this letter and it was sent to me. I believe that is not a coincidence that can be overlooked. Okay? When I opened my mail, I immediately called Mr. Farmer, and here was the thing. I had a previous conversation with building planning, my tech, Sarah Harrell, which it's all in the exhibits. And I said, I was doing my renewals, and again, this is during the pandemic, early. a week before, 10 days before, because I did not want any problems. I was being very conscientious with it. And I have an email from her, which again is in the exhibits, which states that basically it was making it harder for her to renew my permit. So I should wait until it's due and don't worry about it because there's a year's grace period with permits. They will start on the date that they're up, the extension, is up, but you still have a year's grace period to renew, so don't worry about it. I also have in writing representations that I had 2 more building permit extensions on the permit. At some point, there was a conversation that, oh, well, we gave you an extra year or something like that. No, the governor gave me 3 years with his stay. That was my understanding of the situation. I'm losing my train of thought here. I've acted in good faith with all of this. When I first began having problems, this is 17 months ago, I reached out to my county commissioner, Janine Herman, which I had never met her before, but had always heard good things about her, and told her of my issues that were going on here. And I received an email back from her saying, Mr. Farmer is bad news. This is in the exhibits. The email's
I've
in there.
taken a look at, sir, I understand which exhibit you're talking about, and I have taken a look at that.
Okay, thank you. That he's bad news and has acted, basically saying he's acted in bad faith with the public. Okay, there's some right there. I mean, this guy that is basically trying to cast me into the wind, caused me great financial loss. And another county employee, my commissioner for my district, is telling me that he's bad news and has acted in bad faith with his dealings with the public. That right there. What I want to go back in, like I said, I was losing my train of thought. I'm going back to the property located directly adjacent to me at Zero Para Springs when they were moving in the construction equipment. They then proceeded to do this large amount of unpermitted grading and blocked the waterway, altered the waterway, which in some way I have certain right to. And I know for a fact, if that would have been me doing, I was told when I got my permits that driving over my property constituted grading. These people came in with huge excavators and did all this work. Then I find out that the property was subdivided in a clandestine manner with no notice to me, no notice to Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association, no notice to Wilcox Ranch Ditch Company. I believe these occurrences lead to the fact that there's a racket going on here and they want me off my property. They do not want me. This is not a matter of that I have violated anything. This is a matter of They don't want me on my property. They don't want a little cabin on 105 acres when they can subdivide, someone can subdivide this and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in revenue for the county. It's not up to them. This is my property. I've gone through the permitting process. I've done everything. I've paid the money. And now these people are trying to racketeer me off my property, and I'm not standing for it. Thus, the 2 federal lawsuits that I have filed, one of which you are named, and the other quiet title suit
Sir,
where
Mr. Belfort,
Yes, ma'am.
who is named?
You are named in one.
Okay, so you're saying that as a hearing officer who is just now hearing your case, you have named me in another suit,
Oh,
correct?
yeah, you were noticed.
I understand. I just am clarifying.
Yes, yes.
Keep moving, sir.
And Mr. Geisinger and Mr. Farmer are also named in a title suit. And the fact of you being named is refusing to delay the hearing or get a judicial ruling on my land patent claim that was filed on my property about approximately 10 months ago. Okay.
Let's hold that thought for just a moment, Mr. Belfort. Mr. Farmer, could you speak to the jurisdiction with regard to this property? 300 Para Springs, my understanding is that's where the violation is occurring, sir, that code enforcement is working towards enforcing.
Correct.
Is that
Within
correct?
the unincorporated county, yeah.
Okay, so that's within Washoe County?
Correct.
Okay, and is that within the jurisdiction of code enforcement?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Belfort, please go ahead.
I'm trying to think where I was. Well, I mean, you've already entered all of my exhibits into there.
Yes, sir.
Am I off on the map, the math here, that there was that substantial amount of work done? I mean, that amount of work in today's dollars would be probably $90,000 to do what's depicted in those pictures there. I also would say that any time that has elapsed since the June 6th refusal of extending my building permits, that's on Washoe County. Because I have tried in good faith to work this out with them. So if they wanted to delay it that, and I've continued to continue with my assertions that this all fell under extenuating circumstances. And I also believe that Nancy Leader saw that. She also saw the validity, but refused. She said it was out of her jurisdiction, out of her scope to address the criminal allegations here. But my contention is that as an attorney, I believe that we're saying that there was crimes committed against me and my property. There was frauds and all kinds of frauds and embezzlement going on here, that you guys have a duty under your oath to report these and address these crimes. And I believe that Mr. Geisinger, I'm not sure what he thinks his power is here as a head of building planning, but there's been statements on the record, and I have videos of him saying, basically declaring that I've gotten enough due process, and it's not up to the plaintiff to determine what my due process rights are. Um, I believe Mr. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name.
It's
Geisinger,
Giesinger, sir.
Mr. Giesinger. Uh, I believe he's dishonest, which is further enforced by his ex parte communications with you.
Mr.
Again,
Belfort, my understanding is that you're referring,
yeah,
Mr. Belfort, just one moment. I'd like to make the record clear. You're referring to an email that came in from Mr. Giesinger with regard to his question about he had a misunderstanding that this hearing was going to be in person. So it is not. And that was one of the primary issues with regard to that. And
well,
I've
ma'am,
taken a look at his email as well as your refutation, which also would be arguably characterized as ex parte. So I've taken a
but
look
it
at
was
both of
still on
those
the
emails,
email
sir.
chain. It was still on the email chain. And let me also add this to the record that that ex parte communication with you was concealed from my view until I forwarded it to an associate of mine. And then he said, "Did you see this?" And that's when I became aware of it. It had been scrubbed from the email chain that was sent to me by the administrative hearing office.
Mr.
It
Belfort,
was
let me please clarify this. Um, the email did come in on a reply to a hearing notice, and that is why you were sent a copy of it to make sure that all parties have a level playing field. And knowing that you're pro per, we want to make sure that you have due notice of anything that is known by the court with regard to this case. So
however, ma'am,
that is how you got a copy of it, because the court
however, ma'am,
specifically ensured that you had a copy.
ma'am, I did not receive, that was hidden from my view, which would be consistent with someone deleting that email from Mr. Giesinger out of the chain before it was sent to me, but it was still embedded in the email. And when I forwarded it, it became visible. That's the only way that I knew about that. And that contained many prejudicial statements, and that was never sent to me directly on an open email. I discovered that by a fluke, which goes along with the deceptive and fraudulent practices that I have been subjected to by Washoe County. I also would like to bring up another instance of that when, in following Nancy Leader's ruling that I obtain my permits, I immediately contacted Kelly Mullen, head of the permitting division, and received the same email back. Oh, you don't have any more extensions left, which is contrary to the representations that I have in writing that are in the exhibits that said that I had two more left. Okay. She then, in another conversation that is also in the email concerning the Board of Adjustments hearing, she said, even if they rule for you at the Board of Adjustments, you still are not going to get your permits back because you didn't appeal them within 10 days. And my reply to that was, You refused to answer my emails for 30 days. I have that documented. It's in the exhibits. You refused. They did not answer for 30 days. And then how many months later, or 6 months or 9 months later, are saying, oh, you missed the deadline. I mean, it's just been one circumstance after another. Okay, I
Hear you,
mean,
sir. And if you could wait for just a moment, Mr. Belfort, with regard to specifically the email that you had referenced that Mr. Giesinger had indicated that his office has been quite busy and that it may be present a burden to continue on past the hour, which is ordinarily what we allow for these hearings.
I'm
So let
sorry,
me ask
ma'am, but it said two hours.
Mr. Belfort, I'm speaking. You need to be quiet for just a moment. Mr. Giesinger and Mr. Farmer, my understanding is that it was a burden to create a situation where you may need to stay for the second hour of this hearing, depending upon how long it lasts. So I'm going to ask at this moment, is there any difficulty with someone from code enforcement staying or please let me know where you're at with this,
I
sir.
can remain and answer any questions you may have. We just want to get
Mr. Giesinger,
Yes, thank you, Hearing Officer Bauer. Really appreciate that. I actually was able to cancel. Well, I'm not going to attend it. I was supposed to go to a workshop on the AB
go
211
ahead, sir.
receivership stuff, so that's why I really wanted to go to that. But I ended up canceling it so that I could stay if necessary. So I
All
appreciate
right.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Giesinger. Mr. Belfort, please continue, sir.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to question Mr. Giesinger.
At this time, I would like to ask, what is your line of questioning?
What is my line of questioning? Well, it's varied, but one of the things that's going to come up is this ex parte communication and ex parte communications with Rob Pierce of the Board of Adjustments and where exactly. See, I walked into an Board of Adjustments hearing naively believing that I was going to get some type of fair adjudication there.
All
After
right,
the
sir. Sir, you're permitted limited questioning. Go ahead with regard to the
Okay,
issues you just
okay,
identified.
Mr. Gasinger, can you please state your full name for the record?
No, I already swore oath. You got my name.
Mr. Giesinger, go ahead if you wouldn't mind your full name.
Chadwick Lloyd Giesinger.
Excuse me, I didn't get the middle name. Can you please repeat that?
L.
What does that L stand for?
Lloyd.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. At what point did my Board of Adjustment hearing become Washoe County's appeal of the administrative hearing decision by Nancy Leader? I mean, I need a date, a time, something. When did that suddenly transform from my appeal to your and Washoe County's appeal?
Both parties have appeal rights when a hearing order is rendered. The county exercises its appeal rights within the appeal window.
Was I ever notified? No, excuse me. Let me back up a minute. Can you tell me the date that the county filed its appeal?
I don't remember the exact date, but it was within the appeal window of the
Well,
10,
I
the 20
tend to
days.
disagree. I tend to disagree because I was
Mr.
within a
Mr.
week.
Belfort, Mr.
Yes.
Belfort, do you have a specific date in mind?
Well,
that it was outside the date? If so, could you
again,
provide the document?
um, my
Mr.
my
Giesinger has
appeal,
indicated it was within the 25 days.
it was not, because I was at the edge of the 25 days. I did not receive verification of the hearing for another 30 days. So he was outside of it. Did you ever, Mr. Giesinger, did you ever provide me with the exhibits for that hearing? That your evidence for that hearing. Did you ever provide me with those?
Yes, you were provided with everything per the procedures of the Board of Adjustment hearing, and your appeal window for making all these arguments is over with. You already went to district court and it was dismissed, so
What?
this is all irrelevant.
Well,
If you had those
ma'am,
grievances, you had your chance to appeal them
I,
already.
I object to Mr. Geisinger making rulings and calling my assertions irrelevant here, because
Mr.
I'm just
Belfort, your
telling.
next question.
Have you had any ex parte communications with Rob Pierce?
No,
Have you, Mr. Giesinger, have you had any ex parte communications with District Attorney Hicks or any of his uh, deputies?
no,
Mr. Giesinger, have you had any ex parte communications with Administrative Hearing Officer Byer?
I emailed a clarification for when I got the hearing notice. That was it.
Did that communication contain any statements or information that may influence or bias her decision?
Mr. Belfort, that document speaks for itself, and Mr. Giesinger is not perhaps in a position to indicate whether or not it influenced or not. You also, again, sir, presented an email response to Mr. Giesinger's email.
Yes, ma'am, but circumstances of that email being deliberately concealed from me by the Administrative Hearing Office, I feel that this is both proper and relevant to bring up here. With that said, and you've already admitted all the exhibits, I think I'm going to stand on my contention that due to the stay of statute of limitations by executive order of Governor Sisolak, the amount of work completed during the last building permit extension period, that my permits should be reinstated effective May 28th, 2026, considering weather and considering all the financial damage that I have sustained here due to this, due to the Washoe County's actions, that it be started when the weather is cleared. I feel this is more than fair and reasonable to ask for this. I also think that by completely ignoring the existence of a filed land patent upon my property, the a jurisdictional challenge, the numerous, at least two offers to pay and settle that I have submitted to Washoe County that were completely ignored, that my permits be reinstated May 28th, 2026, and that everything since I received the time that has elapsed since I received that first notice, which I believe was a retaliation by Mr. Schreck for my reporting of crimes that have been committed against myself and 80 other property owners here in the Wilcox Ranch area of Warm Springs under the Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association and Ditch Company. The further extenuating circumstances of having to unravel these frauds and cover-ups that have occurred here by past and present members or past and present employees of Washoe County, that my permits be reinstated, and then I will have to pursue the damages that have been done to me and the inflation that has occurred in the last 18 months that they have prevented me from working on my property. This whole thing should never have gone to this degree. I've acted in good faith the whole way. Now I'm being accused of being a sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizens don't purchase building permits. Sovereign citizens don't carry professional licensing. Sovereign citizens don't volunteer for 3 years as operational firefighters for Truckee Meadows Fire Rescue. I believe this is a financially motivated fraud and racketeering being perpetrated here. I believe there are numerous instances of selective enforcement, and I would be willing to walk outside right now and point this camera at a cabin built with no permits, no nothing, directly across from me, aided by the complainant, James Lee Schreck, located at 200 Para Springs. So we got the unpermitted grading and the blocking of the waterways on the subdivision that Mr. Geisinger worked on and approved. Behind me, we got across from me this 200 square foot cabin that had to draw when he took pictures of my property. Then we have the property directly behind me, located at 400 Springs, that is basically an RV park that they obtained agricultural
Mr.
and
Belfort,
permitted septic system. I'm just, I'm sorry if I'm going off track here, but this whole thing is just one big selective enforcement racketeering. They're trying to get me off my property here, and I'm not going to stand for it. And this,
okay.
then
Mr. Belfort,
you should see what clearly, and I believe Nancy Leader did see clearly what the underlying tones are here of what's really going on. And I just want to be left alone, get my permits, and continue building my project in my remaining 2 building permits.
Mr.
And, that,
Belfort,
and
just to
with
address one of the allegations that you made with regard to selective enforcement,
yes, ma'am.
and perhaps this is not public knowledge, but perhaps Mr. Farmer could indicate how complaints are brought to the attention of code enforcement, please, sir.
At the direction of the Board of County Commissioners, we are complaint-based. So we do not proactively look for code enforcement violations. We only go out there and inspect once a complaint is received. If Mr. Belfort has any complaints on any neighboring properties, I urge him to call Washoe 311 and make a complaint.
Okay, thank you.
You know, ma'am, I got to just stop you there, okay? I've this has gone so far beyond that. I've written letters, or they're in evidence, to the district attorney, naming all these things. I mean, it's just blatant what's going on here. But to not cloud this issue, which I believe they're just using the technique of muddying the waters here, doing the simple math that there was work completed in the last period of my extension. Before that, it was stayed for almost 3 years during the COVID pandemic. Putting all this other stuff aside, that alone, I should be granted my remaining 2 extensions, and effective May 28th, 2026. And this has caused me great stress. This whole thing, the malicious intent and the deceptive practices that I've been exposed to, that have been employed on me by Washoe County, no one should ever have to deal with anything like that. And unless this gets resolved, it's just going to go on and on and on, because I have it very well documented what has occurred here. So with that, I'm going to end my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything further from code enforcement?
No, unless you have any questions.
No, thank you. All right. With regard to this case, it appears that Mr. Belfort has been on the property for a substantial period of time, living in his RV. There's been an ongoing violation, and most recently indicated by the photos of November 19th, 2025. He is out of time with regard to the renewal of his building permits, according to an email from Kelly Mullins dated July 11th of 2024. In that case, I note that there has been a violation with regard to Washoe County Code 110-306, and then subsections outdoor storage on vacant lands, as well as Washoe County Code section 110-310, subparts, RVs, etc. So you'll be getting a copy of the information, the order on this case. Thank all parties for being here today, and we're concluded and you're all dismissed.
Just one question. Are you going to note corrective action? Because we're not going to issue any more penalties in this matter. There is a loophole, but we didn't want to go the criminal route. We wanted to give them a chance and do the notice of violence. So we would request that you do put a corrective action, maybe the same one that the Board of Adjustment had already issued, 25-day removal. And then that way we can move forward with that if he does not come into compliance. I
I,
imagine it will get appealed no matter what, but I just think this would be clearer going forward for us to actually resolve this issue.
ma'am, I'd like to
Understood.
add something.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
this is all now. I'm not even speculating on what your ruling is going to be, unless you've already given it to me.
I
But
did.
oh, you did.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I'll just say this. This all ties in with the fraud that's gone on here. The roads are in horrible shape. There's no way I can get anyone up here to move this stuff with
John,
the
did you
current.
go over your exhibits? You didn't talk about your exhibits.
Well, she told me that it was all entered in.
It is all of his,
Well,
Mr.
okay.
Wilson, just so you know, all of the exhibits, including the case file from code
Yeah, I mean,
enforcement.
ma'am, ma'am, again, the stay, the stay, um, to ignore that, a lot of things have been ignored here, but I find it
What about
hard
the
to
land patent
ignore the stay.
jurisdiction?
Yeah, no,
The land
we've
patent
already discussed
jurisdiction
that.
claim.
They've ignored it.
Okay, I
They've
wasn't
ignored it.
there.
So we won't expound on that anymore.
Well,
But
take it into federal court and get
yeah,
an
I mean,
answer.
I really,
It's
again,
already in federal court on quiet title, and
I've
they're going to
acted
be
in good
challenged on
faith
it.
here. Any additional time has been due to Washoe County denying my building permits. I believe what I've presented has been fair and reasonable. And one last thing that I'd like to say on the record is that I am requesting, and I will do this by email, I am requesting a copy of this hearing unedited. I am willing to pay the $35 fee for a DVD copy of this hearing, and I will be requesting that by email a little later today.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. We're concluded today.
Thank you.
Thank you.